What is up? What is up? What is up, everyone? Everyone, everyone. It is another day, another time, and another week for a Word from the Web podcast. You all. I am excited tonight. This afternoon, I'm excited to have someone that is not a stranger to Weapons JC3 Ministries. She is definitely not a stranger. She is my sister. She is one of my good friends. I have watched her grow in so many aspects. She is a powerhouse in her own right. I like to consider her my one of my accountability partners. David always had somebody that was right there beside him that held it down with him. And I thank God that I have somebody like that in a Miss Daisy Mitchell. And you all, I'm excited today to have her on here. And after the theme song plays, the next voice you will see and face you will see is none other than my good friend and my sister, Miss Daisy. So let's go. All right, all right, all right. How are you doing, sis?
I'm doing amazing. How are you, Rev?
I am good. I'm good. I'm good. So, for the ones that may have been living under the rock for the last 3 or 4 years, why don't you tell everybody who you are, and then we'll get into these questions a little bit.
Has it been that long since we've known each other?
Definitely has.
It has. It seems like longer.
I know, right?
It does. All right, so I'm Dacia Mitchell, and everyone knows me as Daisy. Um, what can I say? I have known James, like he said, 4 to 5 years. A crazy story behind how we met, and but I'm not gonna get into that right now. We'll save that for another
Mhm.
show, another time. And
Yes,
we've
definitely.
done we've done a whole bunch of different shows and projects together because of James is why you see me here today, along with God using him. God is the ultimate person that gets the glory, right? But my brother, he's using him greatly. He has used him greatly. I've been on the Godly View, the sisters with the Godly View with him, Real Talk Monday. I'm a part of that with James. We've also done different podcasts and just different mixture of things together. And who am I? I am an ambassador for the body of Christ, and I help and assist those what I like to call them babe in their walk with God, that are just coming into knowing who God is and need someone to hold them along the way and maybe bring life to scriptures, because we know even believers that's been with God for years don't really understand even some scriptures. So what I do is I help cultivate them along the way, in their faith walk with prayer, holding accountability, and as well as helping them to tap into with seeking God, the ultimate man that is over us, seeking God so that they can find out what their God-given purpose is, along with doing some health shakes and sea moss and juice and things like that. But I'm just a help to the body of Christ. That's what I am.
And she is all of that plus more. She's very modest. She forgot that she is CFO of Weapons AC3 Ministries too. Like she forgot that part. Like y'all see when I
Um,
tell y'all without her doing what she does and pushing me, I wouldn't be doing half the things that I do. So God knows that. God knew that I needed a sister like a Daisy to help push me into my true anointing and true calling. So today, we're going to talk about what do you do when you're comfortable, but God says it's time for you to do more. What do you do when you're comfortable, but God says it's time to do more? Y'all, when God gave me this topic, I already knew without a shadow of a doubt I had to get my sister on here for this one because when I met my sister Daisy, she was very comfortable in doing what she was doing. However, I could hear God telling me to tell her, sis, it's time to do more. Daughter, it's time to do more. It's time for you to step out of that comfort zone. And now she has stepped out of that comfort zone and she is blowing it up. And I'm sitting back like super proud at what she is doing for God and God's people. So, sis, when I gave you that topic, what
Mhm.
went through your mind at that moment?
I didn't know why you were asking me, but honestly, the first thing that came through my mind was not. I know you, so I know you're not throwing shade. But the first thing that came to my mind, honestly, was like, okay, so he thought about this topic for me, because, like you said, I've been there. So I was like, my brother trying to throw shade, or is God trying to throw shade? Which one is it? Because God be using you and stuff like that. So that was the first thing I thought. I was just like, okay, that's why I didn't even resist it. I tried to work around our busy schedule to make it happen,
Woo.
because I feel like a person can best speak on a topic when they've been through it. And what other right person to speak on this topic but me? But that was the first thing I thought of when I saw the topic. I was like, wow, I've been there. I've
Mm-hmm.
definitely been
Yeah.
there for years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been there too, to be honest. I've been there where I was comfortable, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest, when he called me in the ministry. I was comfortable singing in the choir, singing with my dad and them, and I had in my mind how my life was going to go. I was going to continue singing in the choir, continue singing with the brotherhood, continue singing in the group that I sang in, possibly get into involved with another group, but then
Mm-hmm.
after that, I was going to start being a deacon. That was the way that I had my life planned out.
Yeah.
Little did I
Mm-hmm.
know at 17 years old, God was going to be like, no, I'm about to shift all of that. Wait a
Mm-hmm.
minute, God, wait. I'm comfortable doing this. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
know you're comfortable. That's why I'm calling you out for more because I
Right.
know there's more in you.
Yeah. Yeah. That goes somewhat like me. And based on some of the questions that I know you sent earlier, I don't want to spill all the beans now, but I tap into that as you asked me the questions. But I
Hmm.
automatically thought about myself. And I think that's growth in itself when we don't shy away, or if we must say it's in scriptures, we're so prideful that we won't confess to where we're coming from. And a lot of times we are like, it's the word I'm looking for. A lot of times we are in denial about where we're coming from, but we have to face where we're coming from to see where we're at now and the growth.
Hmm.
And if we don't confess to the growth and where we were coming from, being shy, being whatever it was, the situation why we were comfortable, whatever it was that was a hindrance, how can you break free if you don't see and confess of you being comfortable, or you being stagnant, or you being stuck? It really is a stronghold to be in that place. It really is. And
And
it
it
really
is.
does tear down your spirit man, because your spirit man is not a limited person or thing. It's not limited. Your spirit man is so powerful. And so when you house the full body spirit of God, and you don't allow him to move through you and flow divinely, flow through you, then you become literally drained, and you keep running
Facts.
around the same mountain like a horse with no eyes.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I see the growth in myself. Thank God that he's able to pull away the scale from my eyes, from my me being proudful for years. I'm like, no, I'm good where I'm at, and I'm not stuck. I'm not comfortable. This is where I need to be. But when you sent that, I was like, wow, I was there, and I can
Mhm.
admit it without being too prideful, or to admit that. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. And if we honest with ourselves, there are aspects in our life where we're there right now, where we're comfortable in certain situations. And God is like, I'll let you stay comfortable for a minute, but eventually I'm gonna call you out for more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna call you out for more.
Yeah.
So let's get into these questions because I know my sister is a busy woman. Y'all, like, I gotta make an appointment just to talk to my sister nowadays. Y'all don't understand. I mean, Sarah Jakes ain't got nothing on her. Pastor Sarah Jakes ain't got nothing on her. Like, this girl stays booked and busy.
James be
So
doing
we
too much.
appreciate
He's doing a whole lot right now, y'all. He's doing a whole lot.
her for taking time out of her busy day to jump on here with us
No
today.
problem.
So the next question that I got to you is, what is a point in your life where you had become comfortable?
Should I just give you one?
I'll
Because
let you
there's
go
a few.
first.
There's a few.
Hey, give us whatever you want to give us, and then
Um,
I'll go after you.
all right. So a point in my life, let's use a more current, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being in ministry, for example,
Mm-hmm.
being in a church home, being in ministry. I've been in the usher ministry for since like 2014, I want to say,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And not only was God trying to pull me out of there, but he was trying to get me to transition to a different church. And I'm not saying this is for everyone. Sometimes God will have you start off at a church, and he will then say, you learned what you needed to learn at this church. This is the level where I want you to start at, and he may take you higher with someone
Right.
um that goes deeper into what he needs me to know. And I know it turns back to being comfortable, stagnant, and just being confined in a place. But I am one that I am very committed. Once I'm committed, it's hard for me to break. And
Facts.
as I grow closer with God, he started to deal with me with stop giving your energy, your attention to things that I've already pulled my hands from, where I'm calling you to move from, because then at this point now you're serving out of my will. At this point you're not in my will. Yes, I'm watching over you, but I can't do what I need to do in that place. So I was in ministry, in the usher ministry, for since 2014 up to recently. And even when I prayed and I asked God, I said, God, are you telling me to step out and do more? And even with him giving me confirmation after confirmation, and I was just like, but God, I don't, I want to be sure, God. I want to be sure. Just let me know one more time. And again, it's because a little bit of it, it wasn't because I was comfortable, but I did not want to come out of being in alignment with God. I wanted to be sure, 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 because I know there's times where we move the wrong way and we come out of alignment. And I didn't want it to be any church hurt and think those things were going on in the church that, God would allow certain things also to happen to shake you up, to make you uneasy, all for numerous things, to grow you and learn you and prepare you for where he's taking you. He would tell you, stay right there, because I need you to deal with um this type of treatment or this type of thing. So where you're going next, it may be a lot more people that come and approach me in that manner or that way or that situation. And so where he's taking me, I know then how to handle it. But once I learned
Right.
the lesson, it was time for me to go, and I'm still there like, okay, God, I'm just serving. I'm serving, I'm okay. This is me saying to God, I'm okay with serving as usher ministry. I'm okay with being in the back. I'm definitely okay with it, God. This is me telling him that. And so that was a time where I felt I was in a comfortable place because I was okay with it. Me, self was okay with it. And I literally felt that the Holy Spirit was so disappointed after a period of time. And that's what really shook me up. And I was just like, I just got up and did it out of nowhere, and left that particular church because, like I said, he was calling me to do more. And then after that, he was calling me out of that church, that particular church. And I just was like, I got to be with God. I got to do what God wants me to do. So I build up not even the courage, but I build up yeah, I will say the boldness and the courage of God, because I asked him to give me his courage, to give me his boldness to go and do what he needs me to do and not become stagnant. And that's how I felt. I literally, to the point where, example, I went and asked my bishop at that particular church, because God had revealed to me that he's calling me to do more. So me being, wanting to serve God, I go to him and I said to him and the first lady, I want to do more. God has told me to do more. So I'm like, wherever you need me to help in church, clean bathrooms or something, I want to do more. But God was saying more like out of the church, you know what I'm saying? But me, just my heart was so pure to serve in his church. I was willing to stay, even if it means I was doing more there, just because he tells me that he wants me to do more. So God allowed, I really believe that God allowed them to listen to what I said, but they never got back to me about doing more. I really honestly believe that was God. At first, I was feeling some type of way. And then I thought about it, and it's just like God was just saying, I was trying to get you to leave. So, had they come to you and say, all right, this is where we want to place you, we want to give you leadership over that, you would have been there for another 4 or 5 years. And that's not where I need you to be. So, he literally pushed me out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So, to
See.
force me to then go where he needs me to go. So that was a time where it was years. Like I said, 2014. And I felt it. I felt it. I literally felt like I was going to church, and I was forcing myself not to go to church, right? But I was forcing myself to connect with certain people that I used to connect with before, because God had moved me up spiritually. So I wasn't connecting with those people and that ministry anymore. And it was really hindering me more than anything. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, that's another thing. We will become so comfortable to where we'll be disgusted. I was disgusted. I was so disgusted. I was like, oh no, something gotta change. All right, God, I'm ready. And that was it. That was the
Oh.
time.
For me, like you said, there's many, 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 many. But I think the one that I can like give best example on was a relationship that I was in, and I had became comfortable in it. I
Mm-hmm.
became comfortable because, let's be honest, when we took photos together, man, we was looking good. Like, she was
Mm-hmm.
good arm candy on my arm. Whenever we walked into buildings, everybody, hi, Doc, we see you, Doc, we see you. Yeah, 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 yeah. This me, this me, this me. But was she feeding into me spiritually? Or was she just feeding my physical need?
Mm-hmm.
She was feeding my spirits, my physical need, for
Yeah.
sure. Yes, she looked good on my arms. Yes, we was turning heads. Yes, she was perfect for me, I thought. But God said, that ain't what I got for you.
Right.
And here I am arguing with God. I'm like, God, she gotta be it. She gotta be it. Like, do you see how fine she is? What you mean she ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget it. It was my birthday weekend. And We're out celebrating with some of my family. After the celebration was over, I get in a car with one of my younger cousins, which is like one of my little sisters. We get in the car, and this was her first time meeting her. And I look at her. I'm like, so what did you think of her? Didn't I tell you she was amazing? Didn't I tell you she was amazing? What you think of her? She looked at me. She said, you want my honest opinion? I'm like, yeah, be real, be honest. She said, baby girl won't be here for 2 more months.
Mm-mm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and of course, at that moment, because I'm not wanting to hear that, I get defensive. What do you mean she ain't gonna be here for 2 more months? Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Whoop de whoop de whoop. God done told me she the one. Knowing darn well I did not hear that from God. And legit, literally, 2 months later, we was done. And I'm having to go back to my cousin. Fam, you was right. You was right. She said, I
Mhm.
could tell it. Yeah, she looked good, but I knew she wasn't gonna be around for long. That's why I wasn't getting too comfortable with her.
Wow. Wow. Cousin told you.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I think that um a lot of times we become comfortable because we want what we want, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And we're used to what we want. The familiar things. And oftentimes what God does, he comes and shake up that familiar thing
Mm-hmm.
because we want to have control, right? So, yeah, once we learn how to let go of what we want, I think it'll become a lot easier to come out of our comfort zone. And that's what I've
Definitely.
honestly been practicing. Because let's be real, you don't do who like going through the same thing over and over again. Like it is tiring after a while. Like I'll be like, God, okay. So now I don't even
Like,
fight.
God, I'm ready. I'm ready to
Yeah,
listen, God. You ain't gotta
seriously.
keep beating me over the head. I'm ready to listen.
It's tiring to see yourself year after year in the same space. Yeah, you may start a thing or two, but you're in the same place.
Space.
It's just
And
like,
you watching
yeah,
others flourish in the places
right.
that they're in,
That's
then you're
it.
like, God, when is it my turn? And God's like, whenever you stop being stubborn and get uncomfortable, that's when it's gonna
Right,
be your turn.
right. Do
I'm ready to
something that you're
give
not
you
familiar
what you
with.
want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what it is. That's what I'm
And
learning to do.
you know what is so funny to me and amazing is
Mm-hmm.
once you step out of your comfort zone and you allow God to
Mm-hmm.
have total control,
Yeah,
it is amazing to me how He will bless you with 10 times more,
yeah,
better than
mm-hmm.
what you could even imagine.
Yeah,
Where I'm at now, the me 5 years ago couldn't handle the me what I have now because the
mm-hmm.
me 5 years ago would have messed it up.
Yeah,
The
right,
me 2 years ago would have messed this up.
right, right.
Let's be all the way honest.
Mm-hmm.
But God knew when to give it to me. He's like, okay, my son is ready. I'm gonna give
Yeah,
him what I have for him now.
yeah, yeah. And the beauty of it is too, when you're in a confined and a comfortable, familiar place, if you notice that you're always wrestling to stay afloating, that you're always wrestling, whether it be with your finances or how can I get a project to take off or something, versus when you allow yourself and allow God to be in control, to take the steering wheel fully, the things just come. The things just come. Like, because you're focused, you're driving, and God is in the front, and you right there holding on to him. And he just like you focus on him and the things are just coming. The things are just coming, whatever it is that he has planned for you. And you don't even notice that he don't even allow you to get back into that confined, comfortable place, because he keeps you in a constant flow. If you allow him to drive, he keeps you in a constant flow that you don't even have time to look and say, why am I stagnant? And if you are in a place where you feel that you're allowing God to be in full control and you become stagnant, you took your eyes off of him. And I'm speaking that from experience. That means you took your eyes off of him real quick, like the disciples that took their eyes off of Jesus and looked at the storm coming. That fast, they freaked out. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm learning how to just if I feel any anxiousness at any time, I'm like, oh, I took my eyes off God. And I regain my focus. And that
I
weight.
took my eyes off her.
Yeah. That's
Ooh, that is, ma'am. What you're not gonna do is have me up here. I knew I shouldn't have had you on here tonight. You don't know how to act. You don't know how to act. You don't know how to act. But
listen, listen. You know, I prayed before I got on here. I said, God, say what you want to say. Say what you want to say, Lord.
So that brings us to our next question.
Okay.
What made you stop running?
What made me stop running it was more painful, honestly. I was falling into running into dead end. I was running into a dead end. You ever been driving and you're lost and you run into a dead end? I was lost. I was literally running into a direction where, though I had the plans for my life, I was still running into a dead end. I was lost. So I got to a point where I said, God, what am I supposed to be doing? Because I feel like I had it down packed at one point, had a whole journal and everything with, at this age, I got to be doing this. God said, you got your own agendas. You have your own agenda. So where's there room for me to put your life in order? The creator, the one that created you in your mother's womb. Where's the room for me? You got it all figured out. So I'm going to allow you until you fully take your hands off. So that's when I stopped running, because I was running into the same jobs, the same financial bondage, the same people, whether it be friends, whether it be relationship. I was running into the same health crisis. Because I was sitting there doing life my way. I thought I could do it without God. Again, my faith and my relationship wasn't there then. And though God gave me signs and he would be in my ear, and I'm like, I'm so anxious. No, I got to figure it out. And God was saying, I just need you to be still. So that's when I stopped running, because I was tired of meeting the same type of people with a different name, with the different body, that act the same, that treat me the same. I was tired of depleting my finances. Like, let's be real. I needed the ultimate accountant, God, to help me, to show me how to handle my finances. Because when I tell you everything I know now, I can honestly say that God has been I call him my one-stop shop man. He has taught me how to be a wife. He has taught me how to do things I didn't like to do. Like, I hate doing my own hair, my own nails. He has taught me how to do that. He has taught me patience and perfect peace. And though my life isn't perfect, where not even perfect, though my life may not be where the world standard would want you to be successful and wealthy, guess what? I have gained stability in my heart, my relationship with God. I have perfect peace and a sound mind. I'm not easily shaken. Before, when I was doing it my way, the devil would come and blow on me, and I'd be like, oh, I'm so not scared, but I'm anxious. What happened? I got to figure it out. Now I'll be laughing like, oh, you tried a good one. Like you really tried because
Exactly.
I'm so focused on God. So I'm not easily moved and I'm not shaken. And because I've realized now that without God, there ain't no other way. Like
Mm.
there's no James, you know where I'm coming from. Like we can go do another show and I really tell my testimony. But
Do
it was
next
let
week.
me just
Let's
say
do
this
that
to
next
close.
week.
Right. Okay, cool. Let's just say this and I'm gonna let James answer. What really ultimately stop running was it was either God or my life. I'm gonna say that again, and I'm literally meant my life. It was either God or my life. There was no other way. That was two choices, and that was the choices that God gave me. So when it's time, when He is fed up with you running, He'll let you know. He'll definitely let you know that that's the choice that you have. And I know God, and He said it with so much love. Yes, God is the
Mm-hmm.
God of love. He's the God of joy and peace. And but His correction, because He loves me so much, He did not want to see me continue to run into the this world and destroy myself. But yeah, that was the ultimatum I have, and I chose God.
Exactly. That was the best choice you could have made. Let's
Amen.
be honest. And
Amen.
for me, it was. I got tired of trying to. I just got tired of being sick and tired. Like I got tired of being sick and tired. I got tired of every time I turned around, I'm doing the same thing. I'm meeting the same people and we talking about the same stuff. I got tired of being sick and tired. And
Mm-hmm.
once I got to that point to where I was tired of being sick and tired,
Mm-hmm.
God's like, okay, bet I got you right where I want you. Bet you
Mm-hmm.
tired of being sick and tired? Now sit down somewhere. Let me pour into you what I need to pour into you
Yeah.
and let you go further so that you're more ready and more capable of being the man that I called you to be instead of the man that you want to be.
Yeah.
Because I know the type of man you want to be,
Yeah.
but I ain't worried about that. I want you to be who I called you to be.
Yeah.
So once you finally get to that point to where you're tired of being sick and tired, God is like, okay, bet I can
Mm.
use you now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here's the thing as we close out, because I know my sister has somewhere else that she does have to
No,
be at.
no, we can finish the questions. We can flow through them.
All right. So for me, the last thing that got me on here was when God just basically looked me got me in a corner.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing what I was doing online with
Mm-hmm.
social media. And I kind of got to the point to where I don't want to say I got the big head, but I had allowed some of the praise that I was receiving to go to my head.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened at that point, Daisy will tell you. The minute I allowed the praise to go to my head, I have to text the sisters in the group chat. Yo, y'all, I got COVID. I got to sit down for about 3 weeks. And when I sat down for 3 weeks, when I came back, I noticed that some of the ones that was with me before I sat down wasn't really rocking with me like that anymore. I'm like, God, that's just why I didn't want to sit down. Why did you let me sit down when I was out there doing your work? He said, because number one, it became more about you instead of about me.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, the ones that was with you was only going to be with you for a season anyway. The ones
Mm-hmm.
that are with you now are going to be with you for long term.
Yeah.
Now, I had to take you back to rock bottom. I had to take you back to ground zero. Now
Mm-hmm.
that you're back at ground zero, let's build it back up the way that I wanted it to be built
Mm-hmm.
up in the beginning. Not the
Yep.
way you wanted it to be built up, but the way that I wanted you to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's good. Because I want to add to that. Um, that's what he had to do to me. So for everyone that's listening, once you fully stop running and you surrender to God, just know that it's going to look a little crazy and a little messy and out of line and out of place, right? Before it gets back to where it needs to be, not even where you want it to be, because you got to stop talking about you. This Once you surrender to
It
God,
ain't you.
it's his will, not your will. Let's get that clear. It ain't about you. It's not about you. But I just want to forewarn you, once you surrender and you're walking with God and allowing him full access, be ready for the stripping. Be ready for the pruning, because he needs to tear down the faulty foundation that you built and build it back up on his foundation. It may seem as though you're losing things and people. It gotta go. It gotta go. Because if it doesn't go, then if he was to allow you to keep those faulty things and build his things on it, it's gonna fall apart. What happens to something that's rotten on the bottom? When you have a bag of apple and one is bad, and it still stays in the bag with the other good apple, that bad one, it's gonna corrupt, and it's going to affect the other good apple. So he got to tear it down. He got to tear it all the way down and build it back up. So it's gonna look a little messy before it looks better. But again, like I said before, if your eyes is focused on God, you should not feel as though you are losing everything, though it look like it. Keep your eyes focused on him. That is so important. Don't focus on what is going on around you, but on the man, the spirit of the Lord that is in control, and he will literally take you to the highest heights that you didn't even prayer things you didn't even pray for. Okay. So yeah, I just want to let you know that you can't keep the things that you got on your own. You can't keep them.
No, you
Gotta
can't.
come. It
You
gotta
can't.
go.
You can't. It was when I tell you he stripped me down to nothing. I lost
Me too. You know
co-hosts.
that. Mm-hmm.
I lost co-hosts. Daisy,
Mm-hmm.
you already know we lost
Yeah.
co-hosts on both shows. People that I was trying to hold on to. God's like, no, that season is up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but God, they been rocking with us. They been doing this. They been doing that.
Mm-hmm.
God's like, that season is up. And
Yeah.
what it took for me was also I had to have somebody come to me. Somebody like a Daisy, somebody like a Janine, somebody like a Jessica, somebody like an Andrea come to me and tell me, bro, God is telling us this. And I'm like, okay, if he's telling y'all the same thing he's telling me, it's time. I don't want to do it, but it's time. Because he sent a confirmation now. And warning comes before destruction. And if
Mm-hmm.
we wasn't careful, what was going to happen was God was going to allow it to go on, and then he was just going to destroy everything
Mm-hmm.
because it wasn't built on him in the beginning.
Yeah. 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 Nothing that's not built
So,
on God can stand. Just so y'all know
mm-mm,
that. It can't
mm-mm,
stand the rain. It can't stand the adversaries that come. It can't stand. It will not stand. You will continue to fall. And like I said, though, he tears things down and strip you and prune you. It's a good feeling, because
mm-hmm,
he rebuilds you in a way to where you don't even notice yourself, because he rebuilds you too. He rebuilds your character. He prunes your heart to where you now have you body his spirit, that you don't even care about the things that you're losing. So I just want to add that in.
oh, for sure. And that's what happens. And the last thing I want to add in before we go to this last question is just because God stripped something down doesn't mean that it wasn't for him in the beginning.
Right.
Because things can be for him in the beginning, but
Right.
then everything has a season.
Right.
Seasons change.
Right.
So maybe that person's season is up
Right.
and you have
Right.
to let it go in order
Right.
for you to grow and them to grow.
Right. That's true. I want to add to that with my business, the infusion. I'm pretty certain he gave me the vision because so many people, James, came left and right and prophesied over the same building that they people that don't even live in the state that I live in, and said they saw the same building in their dream. The same, down to Sister Janine. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I mishandled it. Yes, he may initially give you a vision and a business, but did I keep him in it in every
No.
decision? No, I did not. And so he may give you, because a lot of times we do face that. Dang, did I really hear from God because the business not doing good? What I should have done at first, I was mad. I was mad at God, and I was just like, God, you gave me this vision. Why isn't it doing well? Why is it feel like it's falling apart? And he literally had to show me. I didn't even hear him. He showed me, and I was like, wow. He's still showing me today. He literally showed me that you've made all the decisions and didn't include me. How can you make decisions on a business and a vision that I gave you? So now
Mm.
you can't have it no more. He may give it to me later on again once he finished working in me, but he had to
Right
take that.
now, he's like, you wasn't ready. You're not
No,
ready for it.
no, I
You're
let
not
all
ready
you, and
for it.
you know all the exposure I had being in the magazine and things like that. Did I? He, like, last night, no lie, a memory on Facebook came up where I did this long post thanking everybody, and I said, "Wow!" And listen, I love God so much. My pop, I call him so much, and he knows my heart, that I can tell my testimony because I know he has corrected me. Right. Last night, the memory came up, and I looked at it, and I read it, and I said, "Wow, God, I see what you're saying. I didn't even thank you in the post." Like, I'm thinking all these people, they ain't do nothing. He sent them. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, and it was a few posts that day. It was my anniversary for the business. And you know, Facebook do memory. And I'm like, my whole anniversary, I needed to be celebrating him that gave me the vision, that gave me the tools and everything that I needed for the business, because I didn't even know how I was going to
Right.
financially start the business. He made a way. And I'm thanking these people that he sent to help me. I'm thanking them and not him.
Right.
So I see it. But that's how you know that you have growth and we're not carrying this Leviathan spirit of pride. That's a heavy spirit that a lot of people in business or in their walk, that they house to where they it
Right.
also make them become really stagnant and comfortable because they don't want to confess that thing to God. And so God would allow you to sit there until you confess, I have a problem with pride. I'm boastful. I let it get to my head. And then God is saying, I can work with you. I can now start doing what I need to do in you. Because what can he do? That's like someone that example, someone that abuses drugs. How can you receive full? You go to AA because your family telling you to go, but you're gonna come out and relapse again because you don't think you have a problem. God can work with you as long as you're willing. And if you don't think you have a problem, what did we need to fix? You know what I'm saying? So I can
No.
tell these things because
No.
the Lord knows I had fell to my knees, repent, cried, and everything.
Come on.
Okay. Because it really hurts me now because I'm sensitive to my spirit man, so sensitive that
Right.
I hurted him in that way, that I disrespected him in that way. Like, it really hurt my feelings. And to where I even said to God, I said, I'll give up all of that for you. None of that means anything to me if I don't have you. None of it. Take it. If it
Like
was
you can have all the
forever,
rest of this.
have it all. You gave it to me. Have it. means nothing,
It ain't
Lord.
mine in the first place. So keep it. Take it.
Right.
Take it
Right.
back. That's
Yep.
what I told somebody a while back. They was like, with the news thing that I did where I was on the news. They was
Mm-hmm.
like, man, you a celebrity now. You a celebrity now. I said, no, I'm not. I said, you can have all this. I said, as long as God is getting the glory out of my life, I said, I'm more thrilled about the way that a worship experience broke out in that service
Mm-hmm.
on that Saturday night more than I'm
Yeah.
ever proud about the fact that that Friday I was on the news. I said, I'm glad about a worship experience that broke out on that Saturday night. That's what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about me being on the news. To
Right.
be honest, the only reason I even posted it is somebody told me to.
But that's just you're posting it doesn't mean that you're taking the credit, but it's showing, it's okay with us showing what blessings God is doing in our life, as long as we
Yeah.
give it back to him. So yeah, like I said in my post, that he like the memory, I didn't give it back to him. We're not supposed to take the post it, but say, God, all praise and honor belongs to you. There's nothing wrong with posting it, because like he wants us to show what God is doing in our life. Not for us to
Mm-hmm.
get the praise and the glory, but so that he can.
He
Because
can.
not so that people, hopefully but God knows their heart. They could come to him and say, God, I want what he want. But if your heart ain't right, he's not going to give it to you. But ultimately,
Mm-mm.
so that they would want to seek the same God that we seek, that just blesses us just because we're his.
Facts. Because if I tell you how that happened, nobody
Yeah.
would believe it.
Nobody but God.
I Yeah, that wasn't nobody but God, and God aligning the correct people around me to make that happen.
Yeah.
But the last question that we got for you, which trust me, you're coming back next week, because next week, y'all gonna want to tune in next Friday, because when I tell y'all this woman right here, I'ma just shut up on next Friday, and I'ma let her tell her testimony that of what God has done in her life, because there might be some points where I stop her and like break that down, but y'all want to tune in next week. I promise you. So the last question that we have is, why is it that we have a hard time surrendering? Why is that? Why do we have such a hard time of letting go?
I think we've mentioned a few times of one of the reasons we have a hard time surrendering, because we have the perfect life planned out for ourselves. We want what we want. We want it how we want it. We want that familiar thing that our flesh is used to. We have this perfect image of the things and the people and where we need to be at this time. So when it isn't going that way, it's hard for us to surrender, because no, we have this list. We're supposed to be married at this age. We're supposed to have this job. I'm supposed to be with these group of people. So it's hard. It's hard to come out of what you are used to and what
Mm-hmm.
you want. It's hard. I'm not gonna say it's easy. It's hard. And God knows our fleshly human self. He created us, right? But that is ultimately why it is without a doubt hard, because we want it how we want it. We here is the thing. We want to know the when, what, and how. God drops crumbs. He ain't gonna give us the whole thing. Because a lot of times, if he gives us the whole thing at one time, we won't go. We won't
We
do it
ain't
that
able to
way.
handle it.
Right. We won't do it that way. So that's the thing with we get this vision where we need to map everything out. God God knows the map, but he gives us to what we need to get to the next level. And we are a people that wants to know what the next thing is before we even complete the current thing. And that's why we have a hard time surrendering, because we don't have control. When we give it to God, you don't have control anymore. And that's why I honestly feel like we as people have a hard time surrendering, because we don't know what's coming up next. We don't know what our next move is. And I know when I first surrendered, at a period of time, I was fearful of the Lord, not fearful, but in the fearing him, in the sense where, as you should, you don't want to come out of alignment with him. But there was a period of time where I was like, God, I'm not going if I don't get a sure confirmation or word from you. That's where you want to be. You want to be at a place where you're consulting God, to order your steps. And we, again, as people, don't like for anybody else, even if it isn't God, we don't like for nobody else to tell us what to do. We want
At
to be in
all.
control. We want to be in control. We don't like to be corrected. We don't like to be told. Again, that there go that spirit pride. We're
We
not
know
wrong.
best.
Right. We're not wrong. Our way is always right. We got to have the last say. And God said, I can't do nothing with that attitude. I need you to change and come to me and repent. And then we'll work on your character. And so that's why.
Facts. So y'all definitely she hit on everything I was gonna say on why it's hard for us to surrender. The reason why it's hard for us to surrender is because we look at surrendering as a sign of weakness. But really, surrendering isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of true strength to realize I don't have all the answers, but I serve somebody that does.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
my thing is, let's use, for example, if I don't know how to work on a car, why am I going to work on a car myself when I know a mechanic that is capable of working on a car?
Mm-hmm.
So, in other words, I'm surrendering the fact that I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, mechanic, do what you do. That's the
Right.
same way with our walk with God. God,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, God, do what you do.
Yeah.
And that
Mm-hmm.
isn't a sign of weakness. That's a sign of true strength.
Right.
So,
Right.
y'all, we will see y'all next week.
So
And like
wait,
I said,
hold on.
mhm,
Uh,
go
We're
on
gonna do
ahead.
closing. We're gonna do closing words.
Oh,
I
yeah,
gotta
yeah,
go.
yeah. Well, go on ahead. Go on ahead.
No, no,
Thank you.
no.
Thank you.
Say what you was
You
gonna say.
first. You first. You first. Do the closing
No,
words.
I'm gonna go last.
So, y'all, we appreciate y'all for all the love, all the support that you all show to us. We will see y'all next week. As I always say, sometimes our disappointments are nothing more than God's appointments, meaning some things that we look at as bad, God is only turning it around for our good. Stay blessed, be blessed, and be a blessing to someone else. I'm going to turn it over to my sister for some closing words. Let's go.
All right. So our topic today was, what do you do when you're in your comfortable space? You're comfortable, but God is telling you and calling you to a higher place, or to come out of that comfortable place. And so I love finding scriptures, and God led me to Jeremiah, because what better way can we relate to God's topic without going and digging into his word and connecting it with actual people in the Bible? And so all throughout Bible and scriptures, disciples and people faced a lot of uh, struggle where they were in a comfortable place and God was with them. So if you are one that is struggling with coming out of your comfort zone, coming out of that comfort place, let me just shed light on it for you with this scripture to let you know that God is with you and God's going to be with you, right? So God led me to Jeremiah 1 verse 5 through 8. Jeremiah 1 verse 5 through 8, and I'll be reading that from the NLT version. And so verse 5, I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. Before you were born, I set you apart and appointed you as my prophet to the nations. That is verse 5. Verse 6, O sovereign Lord, I said I can't speak. O sovereign Lord, I said I can't speak, for I'm young. This is Jeremiah in God's conversation. He was in his comfort zone. He was in this comfortable place. He doubted himself, and God was calling him higher. God already equipped him when he was in his mother's womb. He doubted his full potential because he wanted to be comfortable, and he doubted himself, saying that he was too young. He can't speak. He can't be the prophet that God is calling him to be. And look how sovereign our Father is. In verse 7, the Lord says to Jeremiah, the Lord replied, don't say I'm too young, for you must go wherever I send you and say whatever I tell you to say. Verse 8, and don't be afraid of the people. He's a prophet. Don't be afraid of the people, for I will be with you. For I, the Lord, will be with you, and I will protect you. I, the Lord, have spoken this to you. So let this encourage you. Whatever God is calling you to, whatever God is telling you to do, this is his word. Stand on his word. In prayer, if you are anxious or nervous about going into that higher place or stepping out of the comfort zone and God is calling you higher, charge him to his word. Say, well, God, in verse 8, in Jeremiah 1 verse 8, you said, don't be afraid, for I will protect you. And whatever it is, you don't even have to be a prophet. He could be calling you to a new job. He could be calling you to a different position in the job, to apply for an opening position that you're doubting. And God is saying that he will protect you. He will be with you. This is his word. Charge him to his word. I dare you to charge God to his word. He got to fulfill his word, and he says it. He's going to be with you. He's going to protect you. And this is the word of the Lord. So y'all be blessed. Thank you for having me. And all that good stuff. You on mute.
Ma'am, you just dropping a mic like that? Look, y'all, we'll see y'all next week. Love y'all. Peace.
Bye.